In this lesson, we're going to create the swivel for the cylinder. Alright, so you can see that it's starting to piece together nicely, and now what we want to do is create this piece right here, the swivel, that will actually allow that to come out so that the weapon can be reloaded. So let's go ahead and borrow some geometry here, seeing how we've already built a lot of this, so it just makes it a lot easier. Let's go to polygon mode, and I'm going to come in, I'm just going to select these polygons on the inside here, including all these little tiny ones. It's just going to make things a little bit easier. I'm also going to turn on this ignore back facing for selection, so that way I don't select anything by accident. Okay, on the back side, I just want these polygons here. So we'll just continue on, go all the way down. And I'm even going to select these right here. Okay. Now with all of these selected, let's hit grow one time, and let's deselect the ones that were selected right here on the very end. Okay, so with all of these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my move tool, hold down shift, drag that out, and we're going to make that part of the mesh, but its own object. So we're cloning that. So now what we'll do is we'll turn off polygon mode, select our new object, and at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete these polygons right here. So just hit delete on that. And then I'm going to take this edge right here at the bottom. Let me go ahead and isolate that so you can see it. Take this edge right here at the bottom and just simply come up and say symmetry. Let's take a look at where we're at. Let's flip that along the X. And there we go. Convert it to editable poly. Awesome. So now I'm going to take these edges and these edges, so double click on both of those and just simply bridge that. So that's been bridged all the way across. I'm going to add in one more segment across this ring. So let's use connect. Let's do 2 segments. Adjust our pinch to where it gets close to those edges there and hit OK. Now what we'll do is go ahead and double click on this edge, and let's deselect this one and this one, and let's deselect this one, and also these on the outside edge. Okay, and let's go ahead and bridge those. So that bridges across, looking pretty good. Now let's do one segment right down the center of this. You know, actually, yeah, we'll need one more segment on that. So what we'll do here is go ahead and use connect, and oops, let's do one segment and hit OK. And let's do this one too. Let's go ahead and add this segment there. So now select this vertex. You should see 2 vertices selected. We'll weld that, and that looks good. And then we'll simply come down here, we're going to right click and target weld this vertex down to here so it closes that up. Perfect. Now one final thing that we need to do, we need to add a segment that goes all the way down the side here. So let's go ahead and go to edit and swift loop, and let's go ahead and add in a loop right across the front here. Having a little bit of a tough time doing it, so let's just go ahead and select this edge, hold shift, and then left click on that. That should select that entire ring. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and just use connect, and let's take that slide down. Let's bring that close to that edge there. It looks like maybe -85 is good. Then we'll take these 2 vertices and weld those so that way it's completely connected. And that's going to go all the way down, and it goes underneath. All right, great. And then we need one more edge. So we're going to do the same thing here. So hold shift, select the edges on the front. Okay, that's going to select that ring, connect, and this time let's do 85 instead. Hit OK. Grab those vertices right there and weld. Perfect. Now we need the back side. The back side, we could go ahead and cap and we could cut all of that, but let's go ahead and just use edge mode. And I'm going to double click on this edge. That's going to select that entire loop. And I'm going to deselect these across the top. And then let's go ahead and deselect these as well. And let's bridge that. And then we need to add that segment down the center again. So let's connect, do a single segment. Let's make sure we set this to 0, hit OK. We're going to weld those points. Okay, and then target weld these points here. And then take this edge, hold shift, select that range just like we did before, and let's do connect. And on this one it's going to be -85. Hit OK. And let's weld this. And then let's also do this. And that was going to also be -85, which is okay. Go to vertex mode. Let's weld that. And then one more time, let's go down here to the bottom and let's make sure we weld these. Alright, so there, that is all together. Let's do a quick check of our model, make sure that this looks okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to go to Views, X View, and Overlapping Vertices. Do a quick check of that. Everything turns out fine. Perfect. So now that we have this all set up, we can actually do a turbo smooth on this, and we can take a look at what this looks like with the rest of our gun here, and you'll see that that fits in there pretty well. We may need to thicken that up just a little bit. Let me go ahead and go to my Hierarchy tab, Effect Pivot Only, and Center to Object. Now let's scale that along the Y, just to kind of give that a little bit of depth there. And actually, you know what? It is in the right place. I think what I need to do is I need to smooth this edge out here. So this can be done very easily. Let's go to Edit Poly mode. And let's go ahead and take a look at this in isolation view. And let me go ahead and right click and target weld this edge to here and to here. Oops. And we'll try this one more time. Go along the back side, make sure that's set there. And then what we'll have here is that it'll start to smooth out on that edge there. Great. Now we've lost a little bit of volume there. And so just to kind of help match that up a little bit more, let's go to Edit, Swift Loop. Let's add a loop right here. And then I'm going to take this vertex here, and let's turn on isolation mode. And take this vertex and let's just move that down to the X and Y. So it kind of creates this loop right across here. Alright, great. Now let's take a look at that with the rest. And we'll just simply move this back into that. Maybe grab our scale tool and scale that out just a little bit. Try to get that to fit in there a little better. Alright, great. So that's looking really good. I do want to thicken that up a little bit more there. So let's go ahead and just scale that in the X, because I want it to be kind of flat with this up here. Great. Alright, so there we go. Now one more thing we have to do. We'll go ahead and we'll leave that just the way it is. I was thinking about putting a hole here for that spindle, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it just the way it is. I think it looks fine and it works. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our next piece, and we're going to start creating the actual handle for this and start filling that out, and then we'll start moving into details after that.